You can get the cards you need for today's Budget Magic deck and support the show from this episode's sponsor, Card Kingdom. Just follow the link in the description box down below. Hello everyone, it's Seth. Probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. So this week, we are heading back to Ravnica Allegiance Standard. To get a bit aggressive, we are playing Rakdos aggro, and this deck is pretty sweet. While it is an aggro deck, it's kind of this tricky, almost Aristocrats-ish aggro deck, where we're hoping to get in some damage with our creatures, but then finish our opponent off with some self-sacrifice stuff to drain our opponent and damage our opponent out of the game. So I think this is going to be a fun one. As you can see, 98 bucks in the paper world, 12 ticks on Magic Online, and no Hydroid processes to spike out of control before the video goes live, so that's a good thing. Anyway, a quick reminder before we break down Rakdos aggro for Standard. If you enjoy this deck, and you enjoy Budget Magic in general, it would be amazing of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk some Rakdos aggro, starting with kind of the centerpiece of the deck, Judith the Scourge Diva. And Judith, it does basically everything we want in this deck. So 3 mana, gives us a 2/2, it pumps all of our creatures +1/+0, and whenever a non-token creature we control dies, Judith deals 1 damage to any target. So, on one hand, Judith comes down and suddenly just pumps our team. Our deck puts a lot of fairly small creatures on the battlefield, and giving them extra power is a way that we can force through extra damage, and then the ability to damage something when one of our non-token creatures dies gives us this insane amount of reach to close out the game. And on one hand, it just protects us from Ras. If we play a bunch of stuff, have a Judith down, our opponent sweeps our board, they're going to take a ton of damage. On the other hand, we can combine it with our sacrifice outlets to kind of just burn our opponent out of the game in really non-traditional ways. So our main sack outlets are our 2-drops. Fireblade Artist, also Priest of the Forgotten Gods. And the big thing about both of these cards is not only do they sacrifice creatures, but they sacrifice creatures and deal damage to our opponent, or make our opponent lose life. Fireblade Artist, just a 2/2 with haste, which is already a pretty decent deal on turn 2, getting in that early damage, and that's really what this deck wants to do, is get in damage with its creatures over the first like 3 or 4 turns, and then turn to our sack outlets, some burn spells to close out the game that way. So Fireblade Artist gets in for 2 with haste right away, and then at the beginning of our upkeep we can sack a creature to deal 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. If we throw a Judith into the mix, it's actually 3 damage if we're sacking a non-token creature, which means we just have these like lava spikes sitting out on the battlefield. The board gets gummed up, we just sacrifice random things, deal a bunch of damage, close out the game that way. And then Priest of the Forgotten Gods is really absurd. It's a little slower than Fireblade Artist, has less power, has to sit on the battlefield to untap, but lets us sack 2 creatures to drain our opponent for 2, make them sack a creature, and we get some mana and draw a card. So this is similar to Fireblade Artist, another way where once the board gets gummed up, we can make our opponent lose some life, trigger our Judith to get in even more damage, and we're sweeping blockers out of the way, which is extra nice. So this is kind of our finishing package. Judith for extra damage, Fireblade Artist, Priest of Forgotten Gods to sack our relatively useless creatures after the game kind of stalls out. What are we sacrificing? And we start off with our 1-drop. So our 1-drops, Footlight Fiend and Gutter Bones, really sweet in this deck. On one hand, they just come down on turn 1, start attacking our opponent. On the other hand, they work really well with our sacrifice synergies. Footlight Fiend deals a damage to anything when it dies, so we get even more damage out of like Fireblade Artist, sack Footlight Fiend with a Judith on the battlefield. That's 4 damage, and we can also split some of that up with Judith and Footlight Fiend to creatures if we want to. So it just gives us an absurd amount of really non-traditional reach in the late game. And then Gutter Bones, we can kind of sacrifice for free. We sacrifice, get in damage, then we can return to our hand, recast it the next turn, sacrifice it again to deal even more damage. It kind of loops with our Priest of Forgotten Gods, since Priest makes 2 black mana, which happens to be enough to return Gutter Bones to our hand, and it makes our opponent lose life, so we have that part of Gutter Bones covered as well. So basically, early game, get in damage, late game, start sacrificing to trigger Judith, to trigger our Fireblade, to trigger our Priest of Forgotten Gods and drain our opponent out of the game. Then we have a couple of goblins that allow us to go wide and put some sacrifice fodder on the battlefield. Goblin Instigator, Just 2/1/1 bodies for 2 mana. Legion Warboss, 3 mana, but it gives us a 2/2 and a hasty 1/1, and we keep getting another 1/1 every single turn. So if we can use our removal to clear the pathway, we can kind of just win the game with Legion Warboss all by itself. More importantly, with our sack outlets, we can do some sweet tricks. Like if the token from Legion Warboss, which has to attack, is just going to suicide itself into a blocker, we can sacrifice it along with something else to our priest to drain our opponent, get rid of a blocker, and keep doing that every single turn. So we have a ton of just random, semi-useless creatures. Hopefully they get in a bit of damage. Worst case, they're going to get in a lot of damage as we're sacrificing them, triggering Judith, getting a damage with our Fireblade, draining our opponent with our priest. So really synergistic in our deck. Otherwise, we have a bunch of actual birds. So as we talked about before, our deck wants to get in a bit of damage in the early game with our creatures. Then we start sacrificing our creatures to get in more damage once we can no longer attack. And then we have Shock, Lightning Strike, and Skewer the Critic to just finish things off. Tons of damage that can go to our opponent's face. Also, the upside of all these cards is they can also go to our opponent's creatures. So if we need to keep attacking with our Legion Warboss or our Fireblade Adept or whatever, we can just get blockers out of the ways with these cards, keep getting in damage with our creature, and then trust that eventually this epic amount of reach will let us close out the game. Finally, we have 1 copy of Theater of Horrors, which just a card advantage engine for when the game goes long. It's a little bit slow in some matchups, but if we run into a control deck that's like sweeping our board, making the game go really long, this is a great option, basically giving us an extra card every turn because it's really easy for us to damage our opponent with how our deck's set up. Plus, worst case, in the late game, we can ping our opponent for 1 to activate Theater, and then we get to play the cards from under it. So a good source of card advantage for the slower matchups. Mana base, only 2 Blood Crypts. The optimal mana bases in this standard are really expensive. So we have 2 Blood Crypts, 4 Rakdos Guild Gates. The Guild Gates are a little bit painful. They are not a deal breaker, but it definitely makes this aggro deck a tiny bit slower. We only have 20 lands in our deck, and sometimes we just have hands where we have like 3 Guild Gates, and we have to play off curve the whole game. Those games are a bit painful. They don't come up that often, but it's a necessary evil, basically, to keep the budget as cheap as possible. Some Dragon Skull Summits, then we have a bunch of basic lands. As far as the sideboard, our main plan, especially for control and even like slower mid-range decks, is just to bring in a ton of discard. We have 4 Duresses and 4 Drill Bits, which, with how good our deck is at getting in damage in the early game, turns into a Thoughtseize on turn 2, on turn 3, so we just strip anything we want from our opponent's hand, which is really powerful. Then for creature matchups, Moment of Craving, Walk the Plank, give us a bit of removal. Moment of Craving mostly for like mono-red, other aggro decks. Walk the Plank, while being sorcery speed is annoying, it kills pretty much anything, and it gives us an answer to cards like Lyra, which would otherwise be really problematic if we couldn't kill our opponent before they got down. Otherwise, a couple of Argo's Bloodfast, more card advantage for the slow controlling matchups, sneak into play on turn 2, and then we can just keep drawing our discard spells, drawing more threats, and hopefully grinding our opponent out of the game. And that is Rakdos aggro for standard, and that's our budget magic deck for this week. So I think this deck's going to be fun. While it is aggro, it's kind of tricky Aristocrats aggro, which makes it a lot more fun to play than a deck that's just like mono red, where you're just like attack, 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 bolt you, bolt you, bolt you. This deck actually does some tricky things with sacrificing things to get that back to draining our opponent and drawing cards and doing all these cool Aristocrats shenanigans. So I'm actually really excited to try out this deck. Anyway, let's get to the gameplay, see how it works in practice. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the gameplay, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap up. All right, budget magic time. We are playing some Rakdos aggro. Rakdos aggro. In standard. Alright, Drowned Catacombs. So, looks like control. Alright, Guildgate go. These Guildgates are a bit painful, I will admit. Opponent. Isolated Chapel for our opponent. Skewer. Well, play the land, and we're just going to Priest. Pass the turn. Tap land for our opponent. And Hero of Precinct 1. Interesting. Legion Warboss. 1, 2, sack, kill, get back, play. Alright, so play the Mountain. I think this is actually going to be a sweet turn. We get to play Footlight Fiend. Play Gutter Bones. Sack them both, get rid of this hero, ping our opponent, Draw a card, add some mana. And then Legion Warboss. Megadork, start attacking. All right, that was a good turn. And now we have goblins that we can sacrifice. Phone it down to 16. Okay. Kind of a weird removal spell, but it gets the job done. Phone it. Thief of Sanity. And passes. Swamp. I'll play a Swamp. Play Judith. Go to combat. Make a goblin. Attack, attack. Opponent takes it. Down to 12. Well, let's just keep doing this. Target our opponent. Sack the goblins. Get rid of Thief of Sanity. Get back Gutterbones. Play Gutterbones. Pass the turn, and our opponent needs something pretty good. This looks like the Esper mid-range deck, but our opponent needs something good, not to be just dead, and our opponent is dead, and that was pretty impressive. That was pretty good of our deck. So, Esper mid-range A. Okay. So, I assume this is Esper mid-range. Was played at the SCG event over the weekend. So we're probably looking at like heroes, deputies, mostly creatures. I think this is probably a walk the plank matchup. They have some big stuff that we don't really want to get got by. So probably bring in like walk the plank. Go down. Argo's Bloodfast could also be good. Maybe we go down like a couple Skewer the Critics. And, Alright, let's cut Skewer the Critics all together and also bring in a Bloodfast. Because this game could definitely go long. Alright, let's get a nice little Rakdos hand. And, alright. I mean, yes, we have an annoying Guildgate, but this hand's pretty reasonable. 1-drop, 1-drop, double 3-drops. Looks pretty good. No removal, but hopefully we'll draw into it. Little worried about Hero. Hero can definitely spiral out of control if it comes down early, and we don't have removal. Opponent. Godless Shrine. And passes. We draw a Mountain. So let's just Swamp and Gutterbones. Pass the turn. Hallowed Fountain for our opponent. Tapped. And passes. Well, play a Mountain. Go to combat. Get in with Gutterbones. Hit our opponent. Play Gutterbones. Play Footlight Fiend. And, I mean, this is a pretty aggro start. Opponent. Ew, Deputy. Alright. That is a annoyance until we find a way to kill it. We lose both Gutterbones. Opponent. Judith. Well, play the Mountain. Play the Judith. Get in with Footlight Fiend. Opponent takes it down to 16. Deputy Detention's pretty sweet. Opponent. Deputy of Detention. On Judith. Well, our opponent is not going easily. Could use a Lightning Strike to get back literally our entire board. I guess we need 2 for everything, but opponent, Gutterbones. We draw a land. Well, play Judith. Get in with Footlight Fiend. Hit our opponent. Play Guildgate. Pass the turn. Maybe we shouldn't have taken out any skewers. Opponent. Isolated Chapel. And Hostage Taker. Oh, boy. Oh, Lord. We need a removal spell now. Oh, this is we should not have taken out any skewers. This deck is mono. Steal our stuff. We have 4 creatures underneath our opponent's creatures. Removal. Ugh. That is the worst removal. Well, play War Boss. Play Dragon Skull Summit. Go to combat. Get a dork. Attack. Please block. Opponent does not block. Alright, opponent's down to 13. Now they get to take our Judith. Ugh. Ugh. Opponent plays our Judith. Pumps the dorks. Drown Catacombs. Goes to combat. Attacks. Well, I guess we're taking 3. Opponent passes. Footlight Fiend. Ugh. Well, go to combat. Make a dork. Attack. Yeah, just attack with 1. Opponent blocks with Judith. I'll play Footlight Fiend. Pass the turn. Opponent. Alright, well, now we have to kill Judith, unfortunately. Not a ton of value. We were hoping to be able to, like, block and kill a Deputy of Detention. Yeah, kills our Footlight Fiend. Well, we ping our opponent. They're gaining a bunch of life, though. Basilica Bellhunt's pretty sweet. Oh, what we would give for a removal spell. Opponent gets in. Yeah. Actually, no. Let's take it. Let's take our beats. Down to 12. Opponent passes. We draw. Always with the shocks. Alright, make a dork. Attack with the dork. It dies. The shocks are not especially effective. Opponent blocks. Yep. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. I think if these shocks were lightning strikes, we probably would have won. Or would be in a much better position. We're just drawing the wrong removal for this matchup. Hero. And Dovin. And this one might have slipped away. Opponent takes up Dovin. Goes to combat. Attacks. Alright, so we need to block here. Ping Deputy. Shock Deputy. Get back our Judith. Dovin's up to 5, and we're out of cards. Well, another Legion War Boss. Go to combat. Make a Goblin. Make a Goblin. Attack. Counter on a Goblin. Opponent. Blocks. Unblocks. Okay, gonna trade off the hero. Alright. Well, stuff dies. We ping... Yeah, I guess our opponent. Down to 11. Pass the turn. Drowned Catacombs. Uh-oh. Ooh, Lyra. Well, we need an answer for that, and we need it now. Lyra is not an especially beatable card for us. Opponent. Attacks. Well, we're going to block. And block. We don't want Dovin to ultimate next turn. Kill the Bellhaunt. So we need to walk the plank this turn. We draw. Walk the plank. Blood Crypt. Alright. Yup. Well. Alright, so shocks do not feel good. We want all these skewers, and we probably want to cut some of these shocks. The shocks were just not even a little bit impressive. Go down a shock. Yeah, maybe we just straight up swap like that. All the skewers, all the lightning strikes, the walk the planks. The drill bits could also be pretty good on the play. Maybe we don't bloodfast. Let's bring in a drill bit. And can we find room for more drill bits? We want theater. Bring in a drill bit. Alright, let's go 2 drill bits and go down 1 war boss. Try it like that. Alright, we're on the play, which is good. A lot of good removal creatures in Esper mid-range. Alright, we are on the play. And, okay. I mean, we want 1 more land, but we got Priest of the Forgotten Gods, which is, I'm pretty sure, one of our best cards in this matchup. I mean, if we go Gutterbones, Priest, Legion War Boss, that is a great start for our deck. Exactly what we're looking for. And we even have a backup Priest. So we really just want to land. That is pretty much it. Swamp and Gutterbones. Pass the turn. Opponent. Watery Grave. Tapped. Well, come on, land. Judith. Well, Blood Crypt. Untapped. Run out a Priest. Get in with Gutterbones. Hit our opponent. Come on, land. Land. Opponent untaps. Oh, this hand's so good if we draw land. Isolated Chapel. And Discovery. Okay. Well, land. We need a land. Opponent mills. Oh, come on, land. Come on, land. Well, okay. Fireblade Artist isn't a land, but it does let us get in, hit our opponent, pass the turn. And we can sack stuff if we are desperate, if our opponent plays something that's going to ruin our day. Glacial Fortress. Opponent. Passing? Opponent's passing. Alright, no sacrifice to Flameblade Artist. Well, okay. How do we want to do this? Well, let's... Oh, if we had a land... Yeah, let's just... Oh, I think we got a priest, actually. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Opponent. Going to mortify our priest. Yeah, alright. Oh, geez, I wish we drew a land. Hit our opponent. Play a second priest. Pass the turn. Oh, but now they can, like, hostage take. Or deputy of detention. Drown Catacombs. There's the Bellhaunt. Opponent gains some life. We discard a Judith. Well, let's draw land. Let's draw land. Opponent passes. We do not sack to Artist. This is the most awkward. Well, I am not happy with this, but... Oh, this is so brutal. Yeah. Sacrifice. Gutter Bones. Artist. Draw a card. Opponent loses the bell. Play Legion Warboss. Make a Goblin. Go attacking. Hit our opponent. Well, for being very stuck on lands, we're putting up a pretty good fight against a pretty powerful deck. Opponent. And I mean, we do have Lyra covered with Walk the Plank. Watery Grave. Tapped. Opponent. Hostage Taker? There's the Hostage Taker. Hits our priest. Yup. Opponent. Passing. We draw. Warboss. We're still not hitting lands. Well, Walk the Plank, Hostage Taker. Get back our priest. Go to combat. Make a Goblin. Attack. Mentor. Hit our opponent to 5. And I mean, this is pretty much it. What do you got, opponent? What do you have? Ugh. Are we going to win with 2 lands? We have so many good cards in our hand that we can't cast. But maybe it's still working. Opponent. Lyra doesn't do it because of Priest. Man, Priest is a very powerful Magic card. Oh. I mean, we're also with Priest, if it survives, we're also a Lightning Strike or Skewer away from the burn win. Alright, opponent. Thinking over their options. Oh, Discover. That's a good sign. Discovery! That bodes well. That means our opponent does not have much mana left to deal with our board. Maybe they have like a sneaky sweeper? If they have some sort of everything gets -2 type effect, that could get him out of it. Potentially. Leaves one on top. Land. And hero. Okay. And find. Okay. Gets back. Wow, we really need to close out the game this turn. Opponent passes. We draw. Not a land. So if we play this, go to combat, attack, 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 and I think that does it. Mentor on a Goblin. And that should do it. And we even have a priest activation left over. Oh my goodness. Taking down Esper midrange. The deck, pretty good. Rakdos. Rakdos, even with 2 lands. Only 2. We had a lot of stuff we couldn't cast. And it was still good enough. Alright, that was impressive. That was very impressive for Rakdos. So alright. Budget Magic time. We are playing some Guildgate Tribal. Rakdos aggro in standard. That's a lot of Guildgates for an aggro deck. Well, Guildgate, you. Opponent untaps. Mountain. And Skirk Prospector. Okay. That's another land. We'll play a Swamp and run out Goblin Instigator. Hopefully we don't draw another land for the rest of the game. If we do, things are going to be rough. Opponent. Dragon Skull Summit. And passes. I'll go to combat. Attack. Opponent takes it. Well, play a priest. Guildgate. Part 2. Pass the turn. Mountain for our opponent. And skewers our priest. Alright. Well, we can't do anything about that. Opponent getting in with a prospector. Yup. Down to 19. We draw. Well, alright. Flameblade Artist. Play Flameblade Artist. Go to combat. Attack everything. Hit our opponent. Play Rakdos Guildgate. Pass the turn. So opponent's down to 14. We have 5 points of burn in hand. Blood Crypt. Untap down to 12. Veteran Valier. Alright, well, we need to shock the Valier. Keep the Goblin countdown. Opponent. Passing. No sacrifice. Ooh, shock. Well, go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent takes it. Down to 8. Play a Blood Crypt tapped. Pass the turn. We are really close to pull this one off. Super, super close. We're one lightning strike away, or skewer the critics, from just straight up burning our opponent. What do you got, opponent? 4 cards in hand. Crater Maker. Okay. And opponent. Passing. We draw. Gonna kill the artist. Yeah, let's sack. Opponent down to 6. Play Judith. Combat. Attack. Opponent takes it to 4. Okay. I think we're good. We have 5 points of damage in hand, and that's not counting Judith. So I think we might have got there. Opponent. Valier. Judith. Alright, sure. Judith dies. Ping our opponent. And Lightning Strike. For lethal. Whew. Alright. Alright! That was pretty good. That was pretty solid. Against this deck, we don't really have a ton. Our discard isn't great. Moment of Craving is good. And that might be about it. Just bring in 2 Moment of Cravings. Go down. Maybe 1 War Boss seems to get blocked a lot in these type of matchups. And let's go 1. Well, do we want to cut a skewer? Skewer goes face, though. Let's cut 1 Gutter Bones. Let's try it like that. Gutter Bones also seems like it probably gets blocked a lot in this matchup. Alright. Come on, Rakdos. This deck seems pretty good so far. I really love Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Such a powerful card. Alright, opponent. What are you doing? Oh my goodness! These guild gates! We can't get away from infinite guild gates. The mana bases are so expensive in Standard right now that with a budget deck, you just do what you gotta do. This hand's fine, other than infinite tap lands. Judith. Well, Rakdos, Guildgate, go. We are going to get off to a much slower start than we would like because of the guild gates. Mountain. And Instigator for our opponent. Sure. Opponent, passing. Well, Guildgate, go. Mountain. Oh, that's what our opponent's doing. Cavalcade of Calamity. Alright, well, I guess that means we're shocking an Instigator, even though it does not feel good. Opponent gets in for 2, thanks to Cavalcade. Yup, down to 18. Passes. Well, Fireblade Artist. Play a Guildgate. And I think we stay aggro. Get in with Fireblade. Pass the turn. See what our opponent has. Mountain. Ugh. Veteran Valier. Yep. Well, that takes down our Flameblade Artist. Fireblade Artist. I'm going to say that wrong every time. Opponent gets in for 2. Yep, down to 17. Well, we untap. Play Judith. Play Dragon Skull Summit. Pass the turn. The only good news is our opponent is down to 2 cards, which is not that many. Summit. Trashmaster. Grows the Goblins. Opponent. That also turns off Cavalcade, though. Attacks. Well, Judith, block Veteran Valier. Ping Veteran Valier. Untap. Well, I think we need to skewer Trashmaster. Play Footlight Fiend. Pass the turn. I mean, we have some good cards left over in hand. Maybe we're stabilizing after this initial rush in our Tapland Rakdos Guildgatron. Phone it. Combat. Attacks. We're going to take it this time. Not enough value to block there, I don't think. Prospector. And opponent passes. Well, let's War Boss. Play a Mountain. Go to combat. Make a 1/1. Yeah, attack. Opponent takes it. 1, 2. I'm worried about Banefire with this Skirk Prospector. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5. So it could Banefire for 6, 7, 8. Alright, let's just pass. If we get janked out with Banefire, they shouldn't be able to do it this turn regardless, but that is something to keep in mind. Skirk Prospector sacking the board sometimes does scary things. Opponent. Attacks. Well, Cavalcade. Down to 10. Block Prospector. Down to 9. 2 cards in hand. Fanatical Firebrand. Takes down our War Boss. Yup. Opponent passes. Well, those are fine cards. Fireblade Artist. Judith. Combat. Swing. An opponent! They've had enough! Taking down the Goblins! Rakdos aggro, Judith and friends offers a lot of damage, even with Rakdos Guildgate slowing us down. That was a good one. Sweet. Alright, budget magic time. We are playing some Rakdos Judith, I guess. Rakdos aggro. Hallowed Fountain for our opponent tapped. Alright, up against control. We have a ton of good control stuff in our sideboard. We'll see how game 1 goes. We have a ton of discard in our sideboard. Hallowed Fountain for our opponent. And alright, Glacial Fortress. I'll play Dragon Skull Summit. Play Goblin Instigator. Revitalize. Alright, that's a little bit more work for us. Island. Opponent passes. I'll play a Swamp. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. Play Gutter Bones. Play Goblin Instigator. Pass the turn. Well, if we can resolve a Judith by some miracle, we can get in a ton of damage. Opponent passes. Well, yeah, I mean, we gotta go for it. Judith. Oh. Go attacking. Opponent's still at 18. Well, apparently our opponent's deck is prepared for aggro. Oh, they've gained 6 life already. Hallowed Fountain tapped. Opponent passes. I'll go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. Oh no. Sweet Mother of Mercy. Well, so good news is we should not be drawing many lands for the rest of the game. We literally have like half the lands out of our deck. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exactly half. Opponent. Search for his Kanta. Opponent passes. I'll play a Mountain. Go to combat. Attack. I don't think we have enough damage here to actually close out the game. Hit our opponent down to 17. They get to start doing his Kanta-y things. Oh, Lord almighty. This deck does not want to lose to aggro. It does probably want to lose to Sultai and all the other mid-range decks, but it doesn't want to lose to aggro. I will give it that. This one is probably over Like, literally over already, which is insane. But our opponent has gained 9 life and wrathed our board. And they're still at 20. We have spent our entire hand and our opponent's still at 20. Okay. Flameblade Artist, Fireblade Artist, whatever. Combat, attack. I mean, we won't scoop, but we're not that far away from scooping. This has been, whoo boy, oh lord. Well, it seems like our opponent has made a very conscious choice that they do not want to lose to aggro. Cleansing Nova. Alright, well, ping you. All the way down to 16. Well, you can see the power of incidental life gain. Our opponent's incidental life gain, without 9 life being gained, our opponent would be in burn range. They actually would probably be dead, but our opponent has just gained so much incidental life that they're still at a high life total, as Kanta has officially been flipped. Opponent plays a land. Yeah, we're about one card from our opponent away from just conceding. So we will play a Judith, go to combat, make a dork. If they got another settle, they have another settle. There's not... We cannot afford to take safe lines at this point. They have another settle. Alright, well, fair enough. Yikes! Well, good news, there is good news. And the good news is our sideboard is geared for beating control in large part. We have so many cards we can bring in. Duresses come in. Bloodfasts come in. Drill bits come in. So our main plan against control after sideboarding is just to pick apart their hand as much as possible. So go down shocks, go down priests, and go down... let's go down 2 skewer the critics. Alright. 8 discard spells, 2 bloodfasts. Hopefully that improves this matchup. Well, we got bloodfasts. At least we will be able to draw cards. 2 of them's a little clunky, but... Swamp and Footlight Fiend. Pass the turn. Opponent. Tap land. And passes. I'll play Dragon Skull Summit. Run out a Bloodfast. Get in with Footlight Fiend. Hit our opponent. Pass the turn. Well, this Bloodfast should be able to find us our discard, hopefully. That's the theory, anyway. Plains for our opponent. And Discanta. Well, opponent has their enchantment going as well. Alright. We draw... Ooh. I think we're going to just War Boss and get in some damage. We could have played Theater of Horrors there. Theater of Horrors is also very good as a way to generate card advantage. But we want to get the pressure on. If we can get our opponent low enough, then our reach spells can kind of take over. Opponent plays a tap land. Passes. We draw an Instigator. Well, play a Swamp. Go to combat. Make a dork. Attack with everything. Mentor on a token. Opponent's going to seal away. Okay. Takes our War Boss. Well, we still hit our opponent for a bunch. And I think we just Theater of Horrors. Pass the turn. We got all the card advantage going. Opponent. Down to 13. Leaves it on top. Land. And passes. Well, Theater. See what it exiles. Footlight Fiend. Who in a Judith. Well, let's Judith. Pre-combat. Opponent counters. Yup. Well, we go to combat. We attack with everything. Hit our opponent. Play the Footlight Fiend. Pass the turn. See if our opponent has a Cleansing Nova or something. We haven't drawn any discard yet. We might want to start Bloodfasting to... Wow, Reliquary Tower. Opponent. Okay. Well, Theater of Horrors. Exiles a land. Lightning Strike. So opponent could be representing Settle. If they settle, it's not even that bad for us, because we get a ton of lands to go with this Bloodfast in Theater of Horrors. Let's Bloodfast. See if we can hit like a Duress. Instigator. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent. Revitalize. Okay. Gain some life. Oh my god. Revitalize gains even more life. Ops. Opponent's storming off over there. Back up to 18. Yup. Well, play Dragon Skull Summit. Let's again Bloodfast. Ooh, there's Drillbit. Alright. So Drillbit our opponent. Settle, Primal Amulet, Warrant Warden. What do we take? I'm most scared of Primal Amulet because we can't get it off the battlefield. But we might be able to just... I think we take Settle. We're really not that far away from just winning. So I think we focus on the try to kill our opponent plan. If they take a turn off to play Amulet, then hopefully that's good for us. Because we're getting in a massive attack. Opponent mills and absorb. They get to flip his Kanta next turn. Plays the Amulet. Alright. Amulet down. Opponent. Passing. Theater of Horrors. Hits a Duress. Let's Bloodfast. Judith would be a really sweet draw. That's a Judith. Well, Judith. Go to combat. Swing with everything. Opponent to 4. Unfortunately, we have a guild gate, so we can't duress. Pass the turn. All right, opponent. Let's see what you got. You're going to need to gain some life here. As Kanta mills, flips. Oh, we're really close to finishing this off. We are super, super close. Opponent ops. Amulet, counter number 1. To the bottom. And scoops it up. Whoo, we got there. Our plan post-board worked out. Our duresses, our card draw. It worked. Well, we know what our opponent's doing. We do know what they're doing, and all right, let's do the same thing. Draw our sideboard cards. That seems like a reasonable plan in this matchup. All right, we are on the draw. A little land heavy. Drillbit is good, though. We'd love to just draw 1-drop. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I should have known. I should have known it'd be a land. That is a very moto way to run. Island for our opponent. Passes. Please not a land. Lightning Strike. Well, Dragon Skull Summit. Go. Alright, this is not the dream life. Opponent untaps. Ugh. Hits white mana. Passes. Oh no. Dragon Skull Summit. Well, I mean... full price Drillbit. Opponent has the Absorb. Yeah, I guess maybe we should have shipped back this initial hand. Even with 2 of our best sideboard cards, the amount of lands we had are just pretty high. Play a Swamp. Pass the turn. Yeah, we're max flood mode at the moment. Opponent. Revitalize up to 26. Untaps. Glacial Fortress. And passes. We draw. Drillbit. I'll play the Mountain. So awkward. Let's just pass. Next turn we can like Drillbit and then Theater of Horror, hopefully. Land for our opponent. Passes. Oh my goodness. Well, pass the turn. This is so bad. We need to get off to a much faster start in the control matchup, so we should have just discarded our opening hand. Oh, Magic Gods. Really? We're just going to keep doing this? Ugh. Oh, goodness. Opponent. Draws a couple cards. Reliquary Tower. Opponent. 7 cards in hand. Passes. Hooray! It's a Judith! Alright, well, play Judith, I guess. Opponent has an Absorb. I'll play a Mountain. Yeah, pass the turn. Yeah, this is a deck that we want 3 lands. So keeping a 5-land opener, already being pretty greedy, we do have Theater and a Thoughtseize. The thinking with that keep, and I think there is a defense to it, is... Oh my lord. Really? Alright. Well, drill bit you. Opponent has another absorb. Well, play a mountain. Play Theater of Horrors. Pass the turn. Opponent. So the thinking with that opening hand was, any creature into drill bit lets us clear the path for Theater of Horrors, and then we just use that card advantage to make up for the land heavy opener. But the problem is we just proceeded to draw lands every turn. Now our opponent has an Iskanta, and yeah, this one is over. Gutter Bones. Yeah. 10 lands out of 17. Opponent's at 39. It's an early scoop, quote unquote, but there's just no way we can win. Well, I guess in hindsight, maybe we should have shipped it. Alright, budget magic time. We are playing some Rakdos aggro, and alright. I mean, it's not an exciting hand, but it's not a hand that's bad enough we can mulligan it, so we'll keep Island for our opponent. Well, if our opponent's playing mono blue, a bunch of lightning bolts is good. Yeah, shocks, whatever. Gutter Bones, go. See what our opponent's up to. Basic Island suggests mono blue tempo, but opponent passes. Well, get in with Gutter Bones. Another land is not the best. Opponent's gonna Trickster. Alright. Well, Dragon Skull Summit, Shock Trickster, play El Fiendarino, pass the turn. Opponent, Island, and there's Tempest Djinn. Yup. Opponent passes. You, Flameblade Artist. Well, go to combat. I think we're going to wait on Flameblade Artist. We're going to attack. If our opponent blocks, then we can skewer Tempest Djinn. Opponent takes it. Alright, well, play Fireblade Artist. Play Guildgate. Hopefully our opponent does not have Curious Obsession, but I think they do based on how they played their Trickster earlier. They do. Curious Obsession. Yeah. Well, now the question's going to be, can we figure out a way to deal with this Tempest Djinn? Opponent. Or maybe we can race it. Gets in. Down to 16. Opponent draws. Island. And Chart of course. Okay. Passes. We need a good draw here. No sacrifice. Well, Legion Warboss is not the worst. Play Warboss. That is more damage. Go to combat. Make a dork. Attack with everything. Maybe there's a world where we can just race. Swing with the crew. Hit our opponent. Down to 11. Play a Guildgate. Pass the turn. All right. Well, I mean, there is some amount of hope. Opponent ops. Counter spells aren't going to save them. They need actual defense. Bodies on the battlefield. Another Curious Obsession. Okay. Opponent gets in for 6, draw 2 cards. I mean, our opponent's got all the cards in the world. There's no doubt that our opponent's going to beat us card-wise. The question is, can we kill them before they kill us? I guess that's always the question. Island. Opponent needs some dorks. Opponent passes. Okay, well, we will sacrifice Fiend. Hit our opponent for 3. Draw. Ooh. Alright. That's interesting. Play another Warboss. Opponent's got a counter if they can. Opponent. Trickster. Okay. Taps a Warboss. And Wizard's Retort. Well, go to combat. Attack. Attack. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent blocks. Drops to 5. Skewer. Put our opponent to 2. And alright. Let's see what happens. We need 2 points of damage. Hopefully our opponent just has a handful of counters. If they have a handful of counters, this does get the job done. Ops. To the top. Alright. That's not a good sign. Chart a course. Interesting. Huh. That is a good sign. Opponent, I guess, is probably looking for a trickster? Okay. Discards a Spell Pierce. Combat, attacks, draws 2. Well, let's see. Let's see. So opponent is drawing 11 more cards than us, 12 more cards than us. Absurd number of cards. 2-2. Can they stay alive? If they do, it's over. Mistcloak Herald. That doesn't do it by itself. Trickster does do it, unless we draw damage. Burn Spell. Burn Spell. Okay, we need to draw any of our million bold effects. Shock, Lightning Strike, Skewer the Critics. Any of those win us the game. Anyone. Any Bird Spell. Come on, deck. Judith does not quite do it. Come on. Come on. Priest doesn't do it. All right. Well, I mean, we had pretty decent odds there. Our opponent had to hit their third Trickster, and we still had like a 20% chance of just winning. So, man, Mono Blue is an obnoxious deck. The only good news is I don't think it's very good anymore. So hopefully we will not have to play it for long, because I think it's just not good enough anymore. Well, I guess we are bringing in drill bits, going down, maybe Theater of Horrors, Instigators. And, we need enough creatures for Priest. Yeah, let's go down another Instigator. And, Moment of Craving is also good, but we already have a ton of removal. Let's go down 2 Skewers, up a Moment of Craving and a Walk the Plank. Actually, let's just go 2 Walk the Planks. Alright, run it like that. Oh, that was a really close game. I don't know if we can keep this. 5 lands out of the 20 in our deck is way too many. Oh, well, we need a land. That is a land. All right, so we have some hope. This is not the start we were dreaming of, but Priest of Forgotten Gods is good. These drill bits could end up being good. Island for our opponent. Passes. I'll play a mountain. Play Priest of Forgotten Gods. Pass the turn. Opponent. Island. And opponent passes. Upkeep stop. Okay. I'll play a mountain. Play Footlight Fiend. Play Gutter Bones. And, let's pass. I'm tempted to just, like, sack our stuff, double drill bit, but let's wait. See if we can get a creature, too. Island. Opponent. Priest seems very good against our opponent's deck. Opponent passing. Ooh, we draw an Instigator. Well, go to combat. Attack, attack. Hit our opponent for 3. Opponent takes it. Okay. Let's play an Instigator. Resolves. Yeah, let's just pass. Opponent's got to do something at some point. Trickster goes after Goblin Token. Well, I mean, target our opponent. Sack Gutterbones Goblin. Get rid of the Trickster. And get back Gutterbones. Alright. Yep. Pass the turn. Island for our opponent. Mistcloak Herald. And Tempest Shin. Well, we are free to do our thing. Oh, we're in great shape. So now we get to play Dragon Skull Summit. Play Gutterbones. Sacrifice Gutterbones Footlight Fiend. Kill Mistcloak Herald. Make our opponent sacrifice Jin. Draw a card. Oh, it's just like, how do they beat a Priest? Priest is insane. Yeah, get out of your Tempest Shin. And now we get to drill bit our opponent. Thoughtseize. In standard. I'll take a Warkite Marauder. Drill bit our opponent. Take a Tempest Shin. Yeah, get back Gutterbones. Get in with our Goblin. Hit our opponent. Opponent's down to 13 and has basically nothing going on. And we still have an active Priest. Opponent. Mono Blue seems soft to Priest of Forgotten Gods. Alright, Storm Tamer. And Marauder. Opponent, staying alive-ish. Well, play Footlight Fiend. Play Gutterbones. Do some sacking. Gutterbones, Footlight Fiend. Target Marauder. Opponent's got a sack. Down to 10. We draw. Guildgate. Well, get back Gutterbones. Play a Swamp. Play Gutterbones. Play Priest number 2. And turn 2 Priest of the Forgotten Gods has just absolutely dominated this game. It beat Mono Blue all by itself this game. That is basically the entire match, or entire game. The power of Priest of Forgotten Gods. Opponent passes. We draw Guildgate. We go to combat. We do some attacking. We hit our opponent. Down to 6. Yeah. Let's sack. We get back the Gutterbones, so we might as well. Sack. Drain our opponent. Skewer the critics, our opponent. Alright, has a Wizard's Retort. Well, get back Gutterbones. Replay Gutterbones. Pass the turn. And opponent needs something really good. And opponent does not have it, and that was the Priest game. That was a amazing example of the power of Priest of Forgotten Gods. That was extremely impressive. All right, we're just going to run it back. No changes to be made. All right. We got some removal, which is good. Island for our opponent. Storm Tamer. Well, play the Mountain. Shock the Storm Tamer. This Guildgate might be slightly problematic. We'll see. It means we don't have Lightning Strike for next turn, if that matters. Opponent, Island. Mistcloak Herald. Opponent passes. I'll play the Swamp. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Island. Goes to combat. Gonna get in. Alright, this is okay. No Curious Obsession means we're not too sad. Down to 19. Well, let's get rid of Mistcloak. Untap. Rakdos Guildgate. Well, we're still taking the slow path, but pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Island. And passes. Well, play Judith. If our opponent's going to counter something, rather it be Judith than Warboss. Warboss is our best card here. Opponent untaps. Island. Only 3 cards in hand. Without any Curious Obsession going. Alright, Fireblade Artist. Opponent has another Wizard's Retort. 2 cards in hand. Without a Curious Obsession, they run out of cards. And it's one of those games by the looks. Opponent, Island. Tempest Shin. And passes. How do we do this? We want to Drill Bit before we try to kill Tempest Shin. So let's play Gutterbones. Pass the turn. We're going to take this hit. Hope that our opponent didn't draw a Curious Obsession. Island. 1 card in hand. Opponent gets in for 7. That is a lot. We could use a Black Source. Walk the plank and... Alright, there's a Swamp. So play the Swamp. Go to combat. Get in with Gutterbones. Thoughtseize. Probably better known as Drill Bit, our opponent. Take Entrancing Melody. Walk the plank, this Tempest Shin. And opponent officially out of cards. Pass the turn. And now we're in the driver's seat. Unless they... Oh, just an Island. And they played the Island. That means we know this Warboss is coming down. Well, Warboss. Start the beats. Play Guildgate. The one thing we're, like, very slightly scared of is Tempest Shins. We have pretty much everything else covered. And I guess we can even still deal with the Tempest Shin with multiple, like, Lightning Strike plus Shock. Opponent. They draw Tempest Shin. It's a big old Tempest Shin. Opponent. Passes. Footlight Fiend. Oh, play the Fiend. Go to combat. Make a Goblin. Actually, do we just go for it? Attack, 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 attack. Yeah, let's do it. Attack with everything. Mentor on a Goblin. Lightning Strike. Shock. Tempest Shin down. Hit our opponent for 7, and... Alright, opponent, it's on you. It's on you. You need a big draw. Untaps. Draws. Counterspell doesn't do it. Opponent passing. Whew, alright. Run out the Artist. That's more damage. Fireblade Artist. And opponent scoops it up and taking down Mono Blue and Rakdos, aggro, spectacle, whatever. Seems good. Seems pretty solid. We will take it. That was sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Alright. Budget magic time. We are mulliganing with, oh my goodness. Rakdos aggro. Well, we're still mulliganing. All right, Judith Tribal. Let's do it. Dragon Skull Summit. I guess we'll keep. Well, 5 cards on the play with 2 of the same legend. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. You never know. You never know. Swamp and Footlight Fiend. Pass the turn. Bone it. Untaps. Woodland Stream. Sure. And passes. Well, Dragon Skull Summit. Get in with Footlight Fiend. Opponent down to 19. And pass the turn. Opponent. Hinterland Harbor. Well, I mean, we get to keep attacking. Kumana Speaker. Alright, so opponent's Merfolken. Well, let's play a Mountain. Play Legion War Boss. Make a dork. Go attacking. Hit our opponent. Down to 17. Wow, they're going to block. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll take that trade. Opponent still goes to 17. Kumana Speaker would have become a 2-2, so getting rid of that, pretty worth it. 4 is for our opponent. And Jungleborn Pioneer. Yup. Well, let's Judith. Go to combat. Make a dork. Attack, attack. Alright, opponent blocks with the Merfolk. Yup. Down to 15. Pass the turn. Man, is this 5-card hand, does it have a chance? It might. Depending on what our opponent has. Opponent. Deep-root waters. Alright, so they're going to get to make a lot of dorks. Opponent passes. We draw Dragon Skull Summit. Well, play Dragon Skull Summit. Go to combat. Make a dork. Attack, attack. Yeah, it's fine. Let's attack like that. Hit our opponent. If we get our opponent low enough, we might be able to just... Okay, opponent trades. We might be able to just drain our opponent out with this priest. Our opponent's going to have a lot of blockers, but the drain ability of priest might come in helpful here. Tap land for our opponent. And Mistbinder. Yep. Makes a 1-1. Sure. Opponent passes. Ooh, Footlight Fiend. Well, play Fiend. Go to combat. Make a dork. Attack, attack, attack. Yeah, let's go big attack. Alright, let's just attack with the tokens. Let's play it safe. There are, like, tricksters and weird merfolk pump spells and whatnot. So opponent blocks. Trades. Alright. Let's get rid of this lord. Sack. Ping our opponent. Ping our opponent. Down to 10. Down to 9. Down to 7. Plus Mistbinder goes away. And we get to draw. Alright, we just draw a swamp. We'll play the swamp, pass the turn. There might have been a more aggressive way of doing that. Maybe we should have just, like, killed Judith, played another Judith. That might have been better. Opponent. Mistbinder, part 2. Yup. Well, our opponent's going to need some real removal, or we're just going to burn them out. And we haven't even drawn... Ooh. I like Instigator. Let's play Instigator. Make a token. Go to combat. Make a goblin. Sack. Go attacking. Mentor onto Judith. Now we sack. Instigator, goblin. Ping our opponent. Add some mana. Drain our opponent. Down to 4. Sack some merfolk. Well, shock Mistbinder. And that should do it. Whew! Rakdos aggro. Well, that went pretty well. On the Moldify, we just kind of dominated merfolk. That was pretty impressive. All right. Walk the plank. Not the most ideal sideboard option for this matchup. We'll bring in the 2 Moment of Cravings. Go down maybe like the Theater of Horrors, and let's go down 1 War Boss. I think we mostly just need to keep our opponent's board in check. All right. We are on the draw here in game 2 against Merfolk. And, well, our mana's good. We got lots of removal. We will keep this. I think we're actually most worried about Deeproot Waters, as strange as that sounds. That just makes so many dorks. Humana Speaker. Opponent. Passing. Well, Blood Crypt, untapped, and Gutter Bones. Pass the turn. Opponent. Island. And Deeproot Elite. Well, we gotta kill Deeproot Elite. That is step 1. Opponent gets in for 2, so we're down to 16. Opponent passes. Judith, part 2. Well, alright. Go to combat, attack. Opponent takes it. Play Dragon Skull Summit. And let's be efficient. Lightning Strike, Deeproot Elite. Doing it this way means if we draw land, we can Instigator and Shock in a future turn. Island for our opponent. There's the Deeproot Waters. Alright, come on, burn. Come on, actually land. We really want to land here for Judith. Down to 14. Opponent passes. Instigator. Well, alright. Play an Instigator. I guess we'll hopefully draw lands for Judith eventually. Get in with Gutter Bones. Hit our opponent. Down to 16. Past the turn. We're going to have a nice board for if we draw our third land. Kimana would be pretty bad to you. Opponent. Mistbinder. Makes a dork. Pumps the dorks. Yep. Opponent. Gets in for 3. We drop to... We drop to 11. Opponent passes. Footlight Fiend. Well... Let's just shock Mistbinder. Jeez. That's a brutal spell pierce. Ooh, bad time to be stuck on 2 lands. I mean, we are only a 20 land deck, but we also really would like to get to 3 lands. We max out on 3. So we're trying to play the amount of lands where we get to 3 lands with consistency, but don't necessarily keep drawing lands after that. Because additional lands past 3 do not really help us in a meaningful way. Benthic Biomancer makes a dork. Yeah, we might just be in trouble here. Our opponent had their Deeproot Waters, and they had a Spell Pierce that we couldn't pay for because of our 2 land situation. Opponent. Combat. Attacks. Well, I mean, I guess we kill this Merfolk. Down to 8. Opponent passes. Oh, good lord. Well, okay. Lightning Strike, Mistbinder. Spell Pierce. And, alright, we will scoop it up. Well, opponent's playing a lot of Spell Pierces, which I don't think are actually very good. But they're really good when you only draw 2 lands for the entire game. And that's where we were there. Yikes! Yikes! Magic gods. Come on now. Well, we're going to run it back and hope that we actually draw a land or 2. We are on the play, which is good. 0 lander. Alright, the tradition continues. Well, alright, 2 lands, we'll keep it. Dragon Skull Summit. Yeah. So we have 3 lands. Hopefully we do not draw another land for the rest of the game, and we just draw solid action. We have a bunch of removal spells, which, I mean, maybe we can spiral out of control with this Legion War Boss if things go well. Opponent leads on a tap land and passes. Well, play a swamp, pass the turn. So, I mean, our plan here is kill whatever creature our opponent plays. Legion War Boss, start getting in the beads. Opponent, tap land number 2. And Mistcloaked Herald. I don't even know if we want to kill that, honestly. Let's just untap. Ooh, Flameblade Artist. Play a Legion War Boss. Mega 1/1. Go attacking. Hit our opponent down to 19. Wow. Opponent blocks. Okay. Well, we traded a token for a real card. That's not bad. Opponent. Island. Deeproot Elite. Oh, and Humana Speaker. Well, our burn's going to go to good use. Yep. Counter on Humana Speaker. Opponent passes. So we will Lightning Strike Speaker. Play Dragon Skull Summit. Go to combat. Make a dork. Attack, attack. Mentor our goblin. Hit our opponent. Down to 16. And then, yeah, let's just shock Deep-Root Elite. Pass the turn. Hinterland Harbor. Ooh, Chart a Course. We're pretty fine with that. Discards a land. Biomancer. And Mistcloak Herald. Well, I mean, shock Biomancer before it can adapt. Untap. Mountain. Well, play Flameblade Artist. Fireblade Artist. Go to combat. Make a dork. Attack with everything. That's a lot of 2/2s. Opponent takes it down to 8. They only have 1 card in hand. I think we might just be getting there. Opponent. Legion War Boss, when you can keep getting in hits with it, is really strong. I mean, that's all we've done is kill blockers and attack with War Boss. Biomancer. Yup. That's pretty fine. I mean, it can become a 2/2, but I don't even think that matters. They don't really get to loot because they don't have a card. And Rakdos aggro. Opponent realizes it, scoops it up, and that was not bad. Not bad for Rakdos aggro. Sweet. So what do we learn this week about Rakdos aggro in Standard? And the deck worked really well. We played 5 matches. We won 4 of them. Our 1 loss came to Blue-White Control, which, oh man, Teferi is still a really powerful Magic card. It feels like we have a chance against Control if we can be aggressive, and we did win a game off of them, so I don't think it's just like an absolutely unbeatable matchup. Otherwise, we played Merfolk, we played a Rakdos Goblin decks, we played the new Esper midrange deck, which top-8'd the SCG last week. We played against Mono Blue Tempo, which, oh my goodness, Priest of Forgotten Gods was insane in that matchup. That card just straight up beats Mono Blue pretty much on its own. Like, we just played it, and our opponent had a handful of stuff, and they couldn't cast it, because Priest would just eat it. So it just won the game all by itself, and I was just really impressed with the ability for this deck to go long and burn the opponent out of the game. The combination of Judith and Priest and Fireblade Artist is really, really powerful. One of the things that often happens with aggro decks is you get in this big rush of early damage, and then you're like struggling to get those last few points of damage across. Once your opponent plays big creatures, maybe gains a little bit of life. But with this deck, thanks to Fireblade Artist getting in free damage, Judith free damage, Priest of the Forgotten Gods free damage, it's really easy when you combine that with our Skewer the Critics and Lightning Strikes to close out the game after the opponent sort of stabilizes the board. And that was the most impressive part of Rakdos aggro, was just the ability to kill our opponent basically no matter how they tried to stabilize. We did see in the Blue-White Control matchup, good God, was that deck prepared for aggro. It was playing like Revitalizes, it was playing Absorbs, and we would deal a ton of damage, but our opponent would just gain so much incidental life that no amount of damage could really get there. Like, it just wouldn't matter. If our opponent didn't have the life gain, we had dealt enough damage where we would have been able to kill them. But because of all the life gain, there was just not really any shot that we were ever going to kill them. So that feels like an unbelievably bad matchup. Other forms of control are not as bad. I think that other forms of control are actually not bad at all for our deck. Judith is very strong. Gutterbones being recursive is very strong. Our Lightning Strikes and Skewers are very strong. But the specific like blue-white life gain Primal Amulet control, good God, is that a miserable matchup. So anyway, Rakdos aggro felt really good, and it felt like a pretty legitimately powerful deck. The ability to get in early game damage with our creatures, do really tricky, sweet, drainy aristocrat stuff with our payoffs, and then just throw a bunch of lightning bolts at our opponent's face to close out the game. Seems like a combination of effects that can actually be pretty competitive on a budget, even in our current standard format. Anyway, the deck, it is pretty sweet. It is pretty powerful. If you like being aggressive, but you're tired of just playing mono red, throwing burn spells at your opponent's face, and want to have a little more interaction, do some trickier, sweeter aristocrat style stuff, I think Rakdos aggro seems like a pretty good and fairly competitive option for our current standard format. So anyway, that's been Rakdos aggro. That's been our budget magic for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.